Altos is brought to you with the kind compliments of Rituals Coffee House.
Welcome to Altos, a weekly news and current affairs program produced by the Catholic News and broadcast here on Trinity TV and TTT. I'm your host, Neil Parsonlal. Here's a look at this week's top stories. Thousands of Roman Catholic faithful flood the Queen's Park Oval for an historic Eucharistic Congress. His Grace calls for deeper discipleship and national transformation. Tobago honors O'Shea Cummings, who captured gold and bronze at the recently concluded Carifta Games. Jamaican Prime Minister Andrew Holness praises the Roman Catholic Church for its support and service to those in need. And Pope Leo XIV thanks the world's media for their service to truth and communicating peace in difficult times. Now for our top story. The Archdiocese of Port of Spain marked an historic milestone last weekend, 175 years of ministry. The milestone was celebrated with a grand Eucharistic Congress at the Queen's Park Oval, the culmination of 9 days of Eucharistic adoration at sacred sites throughout the country. Thousands of faithful from parishes across the country attended the event held on Saturday, May 10th. But beyond the grandeur of the moment, Archbishop Charles Jason Gordon called for deeper discipleship and national transformation. Here's more in this report from Kaylan Jordan.
Archbishop Charles Jason Gordon did not mince words during his homily at the Congress closing Mass.
The sheep that belongs to me listens to my voice. I know them, and they follow me.
It was a message rooted in belonging and a clear invitation to the faithful to listen, to know and to follow, not just for today, but for the next chapter of the Archdiocese mission.
175 years, and we're still going strong. But what we celebrate is not just that time has passed. What we celebrate is that we are the sheep that belong to the Good Shepherd.
His Grace reflected on what it truly means to be a disciple in today's world. He urged Catholics to go deeper, beyond ritual, into relationship.
To listen to his voice means that we have to spend time with him. Is not just saying the things that we are accustomed to say and praying the prayers that we are accustomed to pray. We must leave some time for him to speak to us.
The Eucharistic Congress, part of a 9-day celebration, was described as a glimpse into the Church's future, a future that Archbishop Gordon said must be rooted in mature discipleship.
If every Catholic live the will of God as God speaks to them in their soul and their heart every single day, crime could not be what it is in our nation right now. Unemployment couldn't be what it is. If we all do the will of God, our nation will become a most beautiful place to be.
I am Kaylan Jordan reporting for Catholic News Altos.
And thousands of Catholics came together to witness to their faith in an emotional and spiritually moving encounter with Jesus in the Eucharist. It was the crescendo of a Eucharistic journey of prayer, adoration, and communion, which began on May 1st at the Cathedral of the Immaculate Conception and ended on Saturday, May 10th at the Queen's Park Oval. Laura Pickford-Gordon was there and gives an overview of the day's activities.
The Congress was part of the 2025 Jubilee Year observance. A pilgrim's monstrance and a statue of Our Lady of Fatima moved non-stop across the Archdiocese to the sacred sites including Tobago. The statue was brought out and there was jubilation. Representatives of vicariates processed waving flags in the colors for the 6 areas. A high point of the day was the exposition of the Blessed Sacrament in a specially created monstrance, 70 inches tall. It was taken around the oval, stopping at the different stands. The Divine Mercy Chaplet was recited, and the faithful showed reverence, kneeling and bowing. Before the lunch break, Archbishop Charles Jason Gordon led an agape moment, offering a prayer on behalf of attendees, who were invited to a symbolic breaking and sharing bread with each other. He prayed for the faithful as they shared bread, that they came to new places in their life with God, and as they have received Him and the graces from the Eucharist, they also shared graces with others.
You see, I got my piece of bread shared. You better have your piece of bread and share with others. God bless you.
In opening remarks, Archbishop Gordon said the Congress was a day of grace and mercy and urged the people to open their hearts wide to receive the blessings and love of God.
How you come is how you will be filled. Many times we say, if I see it, I will believe it. Today, I want you to say, I believe it, and then you will see it. Say, I believe it.
I believe it.
I am Lara Pickford Gordon for Catholic News, Altos.
And two visiting members of the clergy gave profound messages at the Eucharistic Congress. Ohio priest Father Patrick Gonier spoke about his personal battle with addiction, and Archbishop Gabriel Malze of Castries St. Lucia reminded Catholics about the importance of living the Eucharist. Altos correspondent Cleisha Best has more in this report.
Father Patrick, a priest on fire for Christ and a missionary with the Missionaries of the Precious Blood, used his sermon entitled Eucharistic Adoration, a Gift of Intimacy, to captivate the faithful attendees at the near-packed Oval.
When the most blessed Trinity said in Genesis chapter 1, let us make man in our image and likeness, male and female he made them. From that very moment, God's heart was a love story with us. And when we come to the gift of the most blessed sacrament, we soak in the love story.
Once an agnostic, he struggled with addiction and thoughts of suicide. He recounted how a desperate prayer and a vivid dream of Jesus led him to join a church group, thus changing the course of his life.
I was going to this Bible study and prayer group, and they believed that Jesus could heal people. I said, I got addictions, man, and I need healing, and they would pray for my healing. And it was miraculous. Over the course of a year, my life radically changed. I was sober. I was going to church a couple times a week, going to my Bible study, and I just knew I have to follow Jesus. That's my plan for life. I have to follow Jesus. Without him, I'm a dead man walking.
Archbishop Malzier, meanwhile, called on Catholics to live the Eucharist beyond the church walls.
Our reverence towards the Eucharist, which demonstrates the quality of our relationship with the real presence, will always be important. However, Jesus, according to John's Gospel, tells us this reverence must translate into practical life. It must engender reverence towards the neighbor. Unless the Eucharist becomes a part of our daily life, it holds very little significance.
Archbishop Malzier also reminded us the true Eucharistic spirituality involves emulating Christ, caring for the vulnerable, feeding the hungry, and standing against injustice. I am Cleisha Best, Catholic News, Altos.
And as thousands gathered in unity and colours of the Jubilee year for the grand culmination of the Eucharistic Congress at the Queen's Park Oval, Altos correspondents Damien Harris and Andre Burton spoke with some faithful from across the Archdiocese to find out what they were taking away from the powerful national experience of prayer, healing, and Eucharistic hope.
Spending more time before the Blessed Sacrament. As was said, once we get any opportunity to spend more time and just be in the presence of the Lord and continue to hold on also to our Blessed Mother Mary, because she journeyed with our Lord throughout.
The work that I know our community will continue to do is to build in the lives of people this determination to go forward in the grace of the Eucharist, in the power of the Eucharist, and in the power of the Lord, trusting and knowing that no matter what faces us ahead, Christ's delight is with us.
Even our young people to get involved in this new ministry that we have been called to as an archdiocese. I think this is very important, it's very timely, and it is very, very significant in the life of our church here in Trinidad and Tobago, and indeed in the archdiocese.
I would like to draw myself closer to some youths now bring them to church and just ask them to open up and receive.
As for me personally, I must make sure I put it into action. I must make sure that whatever that I've heard, I make sure I abide by it, and I do and put it into practice.
To bring more people to the Catholic faith from outside that don't understand, don't know much about the Catholic faith, and within me it's to introduce them to knowing the entire faith and understanding it and to love it the way I do.
I do ministry, so both my wife and daughter and my brothers and sisters across there worshiping, and I said, we'll continue praising God and developing new young musicians that we have done for the last 40 years.
And at the Eucharistic Congress, all eyes were on the 70-inch tall monstrance containing a 15-inch host. Laura Pickford-Gordon tells us more about this monstrance, which was specially made for its pilgrim's journey to the sacred sites and the Oval.
The monstrance was made at Rosary Monastery. Father Jesse Mingo, who spearheaded the Congress and is charged with promoting Eucharistic adoration in the Archdiocese, told Altos the monstrance and the stand transporting it were made 3 weeks prior with the help of a Catholic businessman who worked with Father Jesse to create the design and make it. Father Jesse said the monstrance was made with brass, gold aluminum, and gold plating, but he asserted that Jesus' presence cannot be quantified. The idea was to ensure that people focus their attention on Christ.
We wanted a big setting so people understand the greatness of the Lord, the majesty of the Lord. The bigger the host doesn't mean Jesus is more present in our Catholic faith. Small host, a little fragment of the host, Jesus fully, entirely present. But it helps us enter into the mystery of his greatness by his size, the majesty of him.
I am Laura Pickford-Gordon for Catholic News, Altos.
It's been just a few days after Saturday's Eucharistic Congress at the Oval. Members of the planning committee have taken some days to recover, but the main coordinator, Father Jesse Mengo, is still at it. Catholic News Altos reached out to him on Wednesday to find out what were some of his main takeaways from the Congress. Here's what Father Jesse said.
Brothers and sisters, what an amazing Congress we had. One of my big takeaways is how much God's presence touched people's hearts. I feel like that whole stadium received the gift of tears. Never have I seen such an event where people were so cut to the heart, and men and women are like just crying, and if I can say, sometimes sobbing, which is always a sign of a deep, deep healing. I think the Lord placed his hand on our church and gave us a great gift of healing, and one of the great takeaways of the Congress too was to see so many parts of the church so involved and coming together, and to see people coming out in their numbers to support. What a vibrant church we have. What an absolutely vibrant church we have. Another great takeaway for me from the Congress was the powerful ability of our people to do things in such an incredible way. Look at the choir, was just absolutely amazing and ministered all day. It wasn't a choir, but it was ministry, music ministry, and they led people profoundly into profound adoration of the Lord. And I was just really touched by the amount of healings, as I said, that the Lord touched hearts and also even bodies. They reported people's bodies were healed, the presence of the Lord. And so I'm just so excited to see these graces unfold in the next while. May the Lord bless you.
And we thank Father Jesse for all his work. Last Sunday, the Roman Catholic Church in Siparia celebrated the feast of La Divina Pastora, with Mass followed by a procession through the streets of Siparia. Delivering the homily, Archbishop Emeritus Robert Rivas urged the congregation to never lose hope, reminding them that Mary is our mother of hope. He also urged mothers to pray for vocations to the priesthood and religious life. Roger Sant has more in this report.
powerful witness of faith through the streets of Siparia on Sunday, the 11th of May, as the Roman Catholic community prayed the Rosary and took the Blessed Mother, La Divina Pastora, through the streets. Roman Catholics and non-Catholics alike looked to the Blessed Virgin, La Divina, for help. Delivering the homily at Mass at the La Divina Pastora Church on the theme Mary Our Hope, Archbishop Emeritus Robert Rivas acknowledged that many come to La Divina praying for miracles for their families.
You are in the right place. Ask God for whatever you want through Mary's intercession. She will take your need to Jesus, pleading your cause. She is our hope in our distress, and hope does not deceive.
Declaring that hope is a big word in this Jubilee year, Archbishop Rivas urged the congregation to keep praying and never forget what Mary can do.
When we find ourselves knotted up, tied up in situations where we can't find a way out, Mary is the undoer of knots. She can help us.
As he celebrated the mothers in the congregation, he urged them on this day, also celebrated as the Day of the Good Shepherd, to pray for vocations to the priesthood and religious life.
That you will mother the vocations in this community and in the church, in the parishes where you come from on this feast day today.
On June 27th this year, Archbishop Rivas will celebrate 54 years as a priest, and he has been a bishop for 34 of those years. He said entering the priesthood was the best decision he ever made. And while he acknowledged the many foreign priests, he said more locals need to enter the priesthood.
The pride and the joy of every local church, religious congregation or order is to be able to foster and produce local vocations.
I'm Roger Sant reporting for Catholic News Altos.
And among those attending the La Divina Pastora Feast Day devotions on Sunday, May 11th, was a group of seminarians from Mount St. Benedict. 3 of them were asked by Archbishop Rivas to tell the congregation why they chose to devote themselves to religious life and the priesthood. They admitted the journey was not easy and it was necessary to remain open to God's will in their life.
Not only time we look for a divine encounter to tell you what God wants us to do. And still, I am discerning. God might come tomorrow morning and say, well, you need to be single for Christ, you need to be married, or you need to go and work somewhere abroad. But we need to be open and we need to be directed by God. And we need to let go of things. Let go of ourselves to do what God wants and not what we want.
In my vocation journey, it wasn't easy. I had to break down many walls and learn to cross new bridges. I had to learn to love in a whole new way beyond the family structure that I know. After these 6 years of journeying in the seminary, the question still remains, you really want to be a priest, boy? And the answer is always, with a firm conviction, yes, Lord.
And if you ask me now, Anselm, why do you want to be a priest? I will say, having experienced and grown in the love of God, having known what God has done in my life and in my family, I want to be an instrument. And not just what God has done, what He has done through the intercession of our Mother Mary. Because I cannot do it alone without an intercession. And I want to encourage our young people here today. Do not give up. My story may differ from yours. The reason or my motivation may differ from yours. But give God a chance. And He will reveal His plan for you.
It's time now for us to take a short break, but do have a look at this week's trivia question.
In this week's issue of the Catholic News, well-known psychologist and educator Dr. Margaret Nakachatur addresses mothers and their mental health. The head of the Dominican Order visited Trinidad for 3 days in late April. Archbishop Emeritus Robert Rivas reflects on the short visit. And Father Donald Chambers, General Secretary of the Antilles Episcopal Conference, and young theologian Angelo Carbonali share their views on the recent election of Pope Leo XIV. Here are the common events. I am Raymond Sims, editor of the Catholic News.
There was a hero's welcome for Carifta gold and bronze medalist O'Shea Cummings in Tobago on Tuesday. The event was attended by Roman Catholic parish priest at St. Joseph's RC in Scarborough, Father Peter St. Hilaire, and many of Cummings' relatives. Tobagonians lined the streets to celebrate O'Shea's success, and as she addressed a congratulatory celebration at the Mason Hall Secondary School, she told her peers, quote, "Champions don't show up to get everything they want. They show up to give everything they have," end quote. As she encouraged her friends never to give up on their dreams but stay the course, no matter how tough it gets. Let's take a look and a listen at the moments of the celebration.
And we are here to celebrate not just an athletic victory, no, but the roar of a lioness who reminded the Caribbean that Tobago runs with strength, with strategy, and with spirit. Miss O'Shea Cummings.
Harness those talents, hone those skills, and ensure that our young people become the best in the world, representing Tobago, representing the country, Trinidad and Tobago, and representing families.
My name is Miss O'Shea Cummings, your future Olympian, to God be the glory. I stayed persistent, determined, and committed. To my friends, success comes from commitment, not comfort. Your hardest times often leads to the greatest moments of your life. Keep going. Tough situations build strong people in the end. And one more thing I would like to leave is, even when the times get rough and the goings get hard, stay focused. I thank you.
Congratulations to O'Shea. We wish her all success on her journey to the Olympics. And in some Caribbean news, the Prime Minister of Jamaica has expressed his appreciation to the Catholic Church for its support and service to those in need. Prime Minister Andrew Holness paid an impromptu visit earlier this week to the bishops of the Antilles Episcopal Conference, who have been meeting since Sunday in Jamaica for the annual plenary meeting. The Prime Minister said the partnership between the Church and the state was good.
An avenue for genuine partnership between the state and the Church in providing these kinds of services for the underserved and underrepresented in the population. And it came home to me again with the situation in Haiti, when I had to pick up the phone and speak again with Father Antisoon about providing shelter and support for, again, children who are in crisis. And again, I want to thank you.
Prime Minister Holness brought some laughter as he thanked Trinidad-born Monsignor Gregory Ramkisoon, Vicar General of the Archdiocese of Kingston and founder of Mustard Seed Communities. Mustard Seed has been caring for displaced Haitian children. He asked Monsignor Ramkisoon how it's been going.
I know it has been a real challenge. And by the way, how is it going? It's very good. It's going good now.
6 days ended. Amazing. They even going to school now.
Excellent. Excellent. The good thing with that is that, you know, Father Antisoon, I don't need $1 from the government.
Are you sure, Prime Minister?
Don't make that public.
No, but you know, it does help when we have, you know, strong partners such as the Catholic Church in providing these kinds.
The Prime Minister also spoke to the bishops about rising violence in Caribbean societies. The plenary meeting ended today. And in his first address to international media on Monday, Pope Leo XIV thanked the journalists for their service to the truth and for communicating peace in difficult times. In one of his first audiences, Pope Leo met with several thousand members of the international press to thank them for their, quote, long, tiring days, unquote, of work over the last few weeks, as they reported on Pope Francis's health, his death, his funeral, and the conclave. We are living in times that are both difficult to navigate and to recount. They present a challenge for all of us, but it is one that we should not run away from, Pope Leo said in the Pope Paul VI audience hall. On the contrary, they demand that each one of us in our different roles and services never give in to mediocrity, said Pope Leo. Thank you, dear friends, for your service to the truth, he said, also underlining the importance of preserving free speech and the free press. We have more in this report.
Pope Leo XIV stepped onto the ornate stage of the Vatican General Audience Hall to raucous cheers. Aside from the exclusive white cassock and zucchetto, Pope Leo had the air of any regular guy, almost noticeably overwhelmed that this assembly, even this elevated chair, was all for him.
Buongiorno.
Then came the subdued side the Pope's friends have said so much about.
They say when they clap at the beginning, it doesn't matter much. If you're still awake at the end and you still want to applaud, thank you very much.
The leader of the Roman Catholic Church slipped seamlessly into Italian,
La sofferenza di questi giornalisti imprigionati,
likening his new role to that of global journalists before him.
Nel discorso della montagna, Gesù ha proclamato.
The Church, Pope Leo said, must face the challenges posed by the times. In the same way, communication and journalism do not exist outside of time and history.
Et Spiritus Sanctus. Amen. Tante grazie.
With a final blessing for the media, Pope Leo descended the stage, greeting waiting journalists and selected guests, accepting a Peruvian stole and gifts from the crowd before walking through the aisle to flashing cameras and babies waiting to be the first blessed. This kind of celebrity is a new existence for a former missionary priest bred in Chicago's south suburbs.
And that's where we leave you this week. Thanks very much for viewing. Continue to pray for Trinidad and Tobago. Continue to pray for our church. As we go, we leave you with some moments behind the scenes of the Eucharistic Congress compiled by Altos director Gary Ferguson. Do have a good week, everyone.
Altos was brought to you with the kind compliments of Rituals Coffee House.